We're still up on the tripod. Good morning, everybody. Jasper here. Welcome to my world. There's something interesting. I come up with a post. I don't know if you can even see that, it's so dark, but it's carved into it is freedom. Now, freedom carved into a post. You know what? I can only assume and only hope that those people who carved that word freedom are paying tribute to our grandparents who fought the Great War for our freedom. Oh yeah. Hey, day number 16 on the Bruce Trail. Yeah, day 16. It's also the wrap-up day, the end of the show for this particular hike. Anyhow, 450 kilometers from the northern end of the Blue Mountain section to the southern terminus, or half, 50% of the Bruce Trail. And you know what? When I was kind of thinking what to do next as far as a through hike or hike is concerned, of any kind of majorish size, several things came to mind, and I'm going to explain a couple of things in this kind of good morning banter. But a few things came to mind. I thought, I would love to go back and spend some more time on the Appalachian Trail. I would love to go back and hike Amacola State Park to maybe Harper's Ferry, half of the Appalachian Trail. A little over 1,000 miles, about 1,050 miles. I'd also love to go back and hike the Colorado Trail. Oh yeah, that thing was spectacular. And I've said it many times, from the first day I put step on that trail, I was in total awe. Whew. And that feeling hasn't left me to this day. I'd like to do the Arizona Trail. There's some trails in Europe I want to do. I want to do the West Island Way and finish that with a summiting of Ben Nevis. I'd like to do that. In fact, I'm planning on that in maybe late spring 2024, next year. If things work out, I'd like to do that. But I stayed in Ontario. There's a reason for that, and I'm going to tell you now. I ran into difficulties when I was on the Appalachian Trail last year, and cut a long story short, I am a permanent resident in Canada, and I have been that for 47 years. I never became a Canadian citizen. I was born and raised in England, and I came here when I was 20 years old. Oh, hikers ahead of us. Day people. Now, I just met 4 young gentlemen that actually incorporate their school day, because they're heading to Brock University, and they begin it with a, I don't know, 6-7 kilometer hike on the trail. each day, just to start off their day. And that's what those four young gentlemen were just doing. Now we chit-chatted for a few moments. Anyhow, so as I was saying, permanent resident, yep, that's me. So when I got, and I never thought about this, I mean, Canadians are allowed 6 months in the United States. I just assumed I got 6 months. But when I got to the border, entered into the United States, I was granted only 90 days, 3 months. And I questioned it, and they said, well, so you're traveling with a British passport. You're entitled to 90 days. You could have got, or applied for, which takes a couple of years, an extended stay visa. I never thought of that. I knew others had, but never entered my mind that I needed to do it. I live in Canada, and we're allowed 180 days. Well, Canadians are, but not me, because I'm not a Canadian. So, cut a long story short, I ended up overstaying my welcome, overstaying my visa. Now, I did go through many steps, and I'm not going to get into it all right now, but I did take appropriate actions to extend my visa whilst I was there, and I had thought I had extended my visa, but apparently I had not. Cut a long story short, for whatever period of time, I'm no longer allowed to go into the United States because of an overstay of a visa. That is the only reason that I am not in the US right now, hiking on one of the US trails, or Crown Trail, or whatever else. It's the only reason. Okay. Okay. So that helps clarify some of my thinking as far as, well, here we are on the Bruce Trail again. Yep. Now, I love the Bruce. The trail is beautiful. It really is. Okay. Let's keep going for now. We have a beautiful sunrise happening through the trees. Again, that beautiful orange ball in the sky. I have not been privy to any of our updated news information over the last little while in regards to the fires that we've got here in Ontario. But I do notice it's still very, very hazy out there, and I think that contributes a lot to the beautiful color of the sunrise. Now, hopefully, with the rain we've had, especially yesterday's rain that just didn't quit, I hope that was enough to kind of kick back those fires we've got here in Ontario, get that stuff under control, help those firemen take care of business. Bruce Trail goes this way, it says. Okay, I'll believe you. Why not? Whew. Well, I wonder I wonder if they've got my size. I'll show you why. Take a look at my shoes here. Could you see? I have ripped them all to rat shit. Both of them. Oh. So let me see now. What do they have in the Ultra line? 14 extra wide, please. Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't think there's anything better there than what I've already got. Oh. Hey. Yeah, you local people know where we are. And some of you not local people know where we are. And wherever it is, we're here. I love these little back country roads and lanes. I just love them. Little 2-horse towns. Yeah, I just always have. Just love this place. Places like this. Pretty. Simple. Yeah. Where are we? Oh, there's a blaze. There's a sign that says Garner Road. Pavement ends. Oh, somebody's StarCraft camper over there. Love those. Yeah, Garner Road and Warner Road. Garner and Warner. Oh, look at that stately home. Oh, yes. Are you kidding me? A little big, but yes. Unique. This is number 92. Ah. Davy Tail Acres. Okay. Okay, Davy Tail Acres. Another blaze on the telegraph pole. Well, I think we're doing just fine then. Hey guys, well, behind me, about 3 kilometers, is the Queenston Heights Park and southern terminus of the Bruce Trail. I'm taking a final break on trail. The coffee, Kit Kat. Oh. I hope whoever invented the Kit Kat won a Nobel Prize. These things are amazing. The only time I eat them is when I'm on trail, which is going to end about an hour from now. I said earlier in one of the videos, and I've said it before, the 2 best days of a thru hiker's life is when he starts a trail and when he finishes a trail. Well, I think the truth be known is definitely when he starts a trail, but not necessarily when he finishes one. Oh sure, there's a feeling of accomplishment, 450 kilometers. That's no small feat. So there is that feeling. However, there's an emptiness that this one is now done with. When will I be here again? I have no idea. I think about the nights laying in my bunk, just looking at the stars and the sky sometimes, and the mornings waking up and making my coffee and eating my oatmeal on a sauna log just like I am now at the side of the trail in the dark with my headlight on. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful time. It's a wonderful thing. You think about the grueling miles, the climbs, thinking, oh, I can't keep going. But you do. You do. Met some interesting people on this trip. A couple of thru hikers, a whole bunch of section hikers. Met 2 nice people from Vancouver yesterday that are here doing 100 kilometers on the trail. Good for them. Very nice people. Wildlife, I've seen 6 deers, 3 snakes, 2 wild turkeys, 1 porcupine, and 1 raccoon. So far, I've still got 3 kilometers to go. I got some wonderful trail magic from a wonderful trail angel. I had some nice conversations with her. I think that's something I'll take away from this trail that I'll remember. So thank you, Scully Brown, for that. The trail magic you left me was wonderful. The coffee, yeah, amazing. What they call it? Punchy Castle, Punchy Bunny, Punchy. It's good. I'm sure it's out of my price point. As we finish off the last few kilometers of trail, let's just take a little moment to recap on some of the gear. We've had conversations about the gear, shoes and cook system, and the pack, my tent, sleeping bag, and so on. But let's just review the tent, because I think that was the major kind of piece of gear that we were really putting to the test on this hike. And now we've put, you know, several nights onto it now in varying conditions. What am I thinking about it now? Well, yeah, still not, I don't know, still not sold on this kind of Durston X-Mid tent being the marvel of all tents. Not sold on that at all. But yet when you go on YouTube, there's a lot of, you know, praise for this, a lot of, but again, like I said, a lot of people just jump on the bandwagon, you know, gotta have it, but not really knowing what it is. For me personally, I went with a single person tent from a double person tent, two-person tent. I wanted to do two things. I wanted to cut down weight, and which the X-Mid did for sure, and I wanted to cut down footprint size. So when you're hiking in the forests, and especially when you're looking for a stealth spot like you are on the Bruce, your footprint size is important. You don't have a lot of regular setup camps for you to camp at, so you have to create your own. And a smaller space is much easier, where the footprint of the Durston X-Mid 1 is huge. It's not any smaller, if not possibly even as big or bigger than my Big Agnes Copper Spur UL2 or any other two-man tent. And this is due to the fact that the Durston X-Mid 1 provides you with two extremely large vestibules. And I get that, and I've used it. My pack, my shoes, everything, yeah, I get that. And that's a great feature. But one vestibule like that would be great. You don't need two for a one-man tent. You know, you've got one pack, you've got one pair of shoes. And so a vestibule on one side design would, you know, eliminate a significant amount of footprint size. So, and again, reducing a little bit more weight at the same time. So I think that it's missed the mark a little bit there with the idea of the one-man tent. Oh, it hit the target with the weight, but the weight comes from the fact that it's a trekking pole tent. You take the trekking poles away from my Big Agnes Copper Spur UL2, weighs the same as the X-Mid 1. So it's not as though it is an ultralight, super ultralight kind of tent. It's the fact that you take away the trekking pole, you take away the poles, and you use trekking poles. To get into something that really is ultralight, or super ultralight, would be the Z-Packs. A one-man Z-Packs tent coming in at 13 ounces. Now that's light. Of course, it doesn't have the vestibules like the Durston has, but it has the footprint you're looking for. Hard to say. Bit of a slippy descent here. Better be careful. So anyhow, the jury is definitely still out on the X-Mid. I'm seeing certain things about it that I definitely don't like in the quality of the manufacture or materials used, especially on the mesh, on the actual mesh layer, or the inner, if you will, of the double wall tent. I'm finding that to be extremely fragile. We already talked about the stakes being nothing but garbage. I mean, I'd rather they didn't embarrass themselves and send them out. Just send nothing. But but they just embarrass themselves with sending out that garbage with this so-called IN10. Oh, that's up to them, of course. So no, I'm not a Durston gearhead. I've seen that on Facebook. Now, I would like to know more about their Kakwa 55 pack, compare it to the Ipolite, this kind of stuff. The Ipolite 3400 Southwest, maybe. Compare it to that. See what it has to offer. But what scares me a little bit is the fact that I am noticing certain things about the manufacturing of the X-Mid 1. Again, like I said, the mesh. So when you start to get issues, no, not the fly, not the exterior, that seems to be good and solid. The stitching, top notch, I'm sure. Just the quality of the mesh on the inner is delicate. Delicate. I've never seen any inner mesh that delicate on a tent before. So that makes a pause for concern on, okay, so what would the durability of that be? Well, in all truthfulness, I'm already going to have to patch a couple of spots, and this was a 450 kilometer hike. Would this tent do the Appalachian? Would it do the PCT? Would it do the CDT? Would it do the Arizona? I don't know. I'm somewhat doubtful, to be honest with you, that it would see it through. So that sums that up, and the bottom line is concerned about the manufacturing of the inner, the mesh, concerned about that. Not happy about the, yes, wonderful, they give you 2 huge vegetables. It's a single man tent. We need 1 vegetable. So 1 large vegetable would have been great. The weight is great, 28 ounces. Again, that's because it's a trekking pole tent. So you don't have to carry poles with it. Enough said about the Durston. Let's talk again about my ultra lone peaks. Well, in a previous video I already told you what I aim was on this particular hike. Could an old beaten up pair, and I mean beaten up pair of ultra lone peaks, do a 450 kilometer, 300 mile hike? Yes. Unless they just fall to pieces in the next 2 or 3 kilometers. Yes, they did. Comfortably, no blisters, admirably. Ultra footwear, you guys are on fire. Let's talk a little bit about the pack, the Osprey. Well, once again, Osprey has been a failure. An adjustment bracket broke on day 2. On a pretty much brand new pack. So it lost the benefit of being able to adjust it and just turn it into a large or extra large size frame. That was it. Now luckily I'm a tall person, long torso maybe, that helps. But as we come out of the forest and into the actual Queenston Heights Park, I guess we're coming right into, I guess, the maintenance area. Oh, there's a garbage can. I think I got a little bit of garbage in my pocket. I do. I'll get rid of that. Yeah. Okay, got rid of some garbage. That's good. Yeah. Blaze to the right on the tree. And we are now arriving at the Queenston Heights Park. Golly. Well, 450 kilometers later, poof, just like that, we're here. Honey, I'm home. Put the kettle on. Time to plan the next hike. Oh yeah. Right here, the last blaze. And across the other side of the parking lot, the southern terminus of the Bruce Trail. Whew.